Hi friends, Namaste. In this video, we are going to discuss the impact of COVID-19 on India's GDP, which has shrunk by 23.9% in its worst drop yet. As India gradually becomes the global hotspot for COVID-19, the size of our economy, what we know as GDP, is down by nearly a quarter of what it was in the first quarter of the last fiscal. This reveals the extent of damage the pandemic has caused to the country's economy. In fact, if the negative growth rate continues for the second quarter ended September, India may face recession. India's growing population of young professionals may find it difficult to secure jobs in the future. The employment outlook in India was deteriorating since 2019, but the coronavirus pandemic has made matters far worse. According to recent reports by the Center for Monitoring Indian Economy, that is CMIE, urban employment, which represents a bulk of salaried jobs in the country, is dwindling with every passing month. Over 18.9 million salaried individuals, or 21% of the overall workforce, had lost their jobs due to the pandemic as of July. This figure has worsened in August. CMIE said India's unemployment rate and overall joblessness in the formal sector shot up to 9.83% in August in comparison to 9.15% in July. The rising unemployment rate in August also indicates that 1 in every 10 people living in urban areas does not have a job. Meanwhile, overall unemployment in August also inched higher in comparison to July. The falling rate of unemployment casts a shadow over the future of India's growing young population. Having discussed the job crisis, let us now discuss how some of the essential sectors have been affected by the pandemic. With economic activities almost brought to a standstill due to the nationwide lockdown, most sectors received a heavy dent. Construction, of course, was the worst affected. Gross value added by it was down by 50% compared to the quarter last year. This shouldn't be too surprising considering the sector faced multiple setbacks. The first being the issue of labor migration. In the construction industry, migrant workers comprise a large part of the workforce. The 40-day lockdown led to reverse migration, with workers leaving cities and going back to their villages. The second being the lockdown itself. Multiple state governments had imposed heavy restrictions on movement and outdoor activities. So clearly, there wasn't going to be a lot of value addition. Finally, the developers also had to contend with cash flow problems. They had idle machinery, unused supplies, and vacant facilities just lying around. They couldn't use the stuff, but they had to keep paying the dues. This added financial burden meant many entities had to reevaluate entire projects even after the lockdown was lifted. Needless to say, this didn't bode well for the industry. The only offsetting the dismal performance from the construction sector was agriculture, courtesy of a bumper harvest last season. The sector clocked a growth rate of 3.4% despite GDP contraction. Even though the GDP paints a rosy picture for the agricultural sector, the average farmer earned less in 2020. This is because of the rise in the number of farmers during the lockdown months compared to the last year. CMIE's data tells that there were nearly 110 million farmers and sharecroppers who were employed in Q1 last year. This year, the numbers jumped to 122 million. That's a rise of 11% in just the number of active farmers. That is almost double the growth rate in agriculture. One thing is clear, that the Modi government hasn't done enough to stem the collapse. It has to spend much more to revive the investment, both in the private and the government sectors. It should consider a temporary reduction in GST rates, especially in the consumer durable segment. I believe that the collapse in our economy is a chance to reorient India towards manufacturing-driven country instead of being among the top 10 of consumers. If you like this video, do hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon to know more such interesting stuff and get them delivered directly to your feed. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.